Hi, Joe Cerrone.
Al Rosen.
Welcome to CAD 134, Basic AutoCAD for Interior Design in our weekly Zoom classroom meeting. This week, we're introducing Module 10, which is Chapter 10, which works with blocks, W blocks, Design Center, and attributes. And our learning objectives are to be able to work with Design Center and external references. As we look at the textbook, we're looking at Chapter 10. Chapter 10, I've opened already. You could click on that blue link if you like. Chapter 10 goes through Design Center, Autodesk Seek, Dynamic Blocks, and External References. And the real content that we want to use in here is Design Center, because Al has done a great job of creating a Design Center library that's full of blocks and things like that. And so as we look at Chapter 10, what they do is they go through how to work with Design Center. And so Design Center is a content manager that allows you to take content from other drawings and other locations and then combine it. So for example, in this exercise, they're showing that you can bring in blocks from other drawings. You can bring in details, dimension styles, layers, layout pages, line types, multi-leader styles, essentially anything with a name you can bring in. And so Design Center has a lot of applications that people use because, let's face it, the more content you have, the better designer that you are. And so being able to go through and to lay out the furniture like this, and you don't have to do this exercise. This is just an example of how they would go through and put in these lounge chairs, the corner table. And maybe you do have to do this if this is one of the rooms on the floor plan. But let's take a look at it. And so as we're working with our content, we're going to be working on this drawing right here. And so this is our tenant space plan exercise. You can download the floor plan and then you can create the blocks for it. And so here's these furniture blocks that you're going to create. Right now I have the attribute display off, ATTDISP. So if I enable the attribute display and turn that on, you can see that we have this, all of the furniture is labeled and tagged. And what that means is that if you're in charge of a facility and the furniture within it, you can now track what type of furniture you have. They don't have the cost in here, but that would be another area that I would probably add if I was in charge of facilities. And so the idea is that you'll go through and lay out the furniture. You'll use Design Center. And so what I have is I've opened up Design Center here, and Design Center is available. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just take a quick look at it. And so, for example, the desks and the tables and the chairs for this have already been detailed and dimensioned. So as far as we're concerned, you can go through and draw the desk up 8 feet, 2 feet, 6 inches, 3 feet, 2 feet, etc. Apply the attributes. Same for the conference table. Everything fits. But as we look at some of the things that we'll be able to do with this in the future, let's turn off our attribute display. For some of the long-term outcomes, if we go through and we go into an isometric view, this is just a straight up 2D drawing right now. But if we were to go in here and use some of the work that Al has, and so let's say that we wanted to look at some furniture and we wanted to put in some chairs. And so here's some of the chairs. If I look at the blocks, it'll give me those chair blocks. And so here's one of them. If I go and I drag that chair into the room, you can see Al's got these set up as 3-dimensional objects. And so as we start to work with the way that we're doing things in CAD, first thing we want is a good, clean 2D layout. And then as we go towards the end of the course, we'll go into some modeling after Chapter 10, where we can actually go through and look at how these things would look in 3D. And 3D is really a very powerful way to sell your ideas. It's not enough to just have a good looking 2D drawing, but a 3D drawing helps as well.
You want it to come alive.
And we live in a 3D world. People have grown up on Xbox and video games that are all 3D. So as we work with these things, Chapter 10, the main content here is just in Design Center and being able to use that. And so, no, we're not going to require any of these other exercises. We just want you to have a good application or understanding of how to complete the tenant space floor plan. We also have videos. And so Al has gone through, here's the 3D zip file of Design Center content, and here's the 2D. And here's some very helpful videos. Lynn Allen has been an excellent speaker. She used to come out here to Oakton and speak. I think she's at the point now where she's probably retiring, but she has some really terrific videos, and she's kind of the person that we like to work with, because it's not like this manufacturing engineer who everything has to be perfect. She has a style to her CAD work that a lot of people can relate to. Al's put some other information as far as putting PDFs in your drawings and creating presentation drawings. We're going to take the book up to those chapters as we have them outlined in the outline of topics. And then as we look at what people are doing, be sure to take a look at these two videos from Chapter 9, because that's where the main content is. And if you look at Chapter 9, Part 1, I kind of have this video already queued up. If we back it up a little bit,
We like our backdrops.
we go through the installation plan and putting in the furniture. And so this is a terrific video from Al and I's Florida location. That is Florida, right, Al?
Yes, sir.
And we go through how to create the attributes, put them on the furniture, and we use a split screen so that you can follow right along with the book. So do watch this video. And then if we come back here to the main splash page, and then Part 2 is a shorter video, but it's also very good. It's very much on task as far as to being able to extract the attribute information. So in Part 2, we go through and we show you how to extract the furniture attributes from the drawing and create a bill of materials. And so this is the attribute extraction wizard that we walk through here. And here we are in a layout. We find our database file that we create. And then we create a table. So a lot of it is sort of nuts and bolts, sort of the, not so much the design aspect, but the practical aspect. It's great to be able to design, but let's face it, we got to buy furniture. We got to know which furniture to buy. And having this stuff organized is what AutoCAD does a great job of. And so here we are putting in the attributes. That's what they look like right there. And another well-made video. All right, so getting back, continue to work on the project for the tenant space floor plan. Go through the chapters, and we'll continue to make these videos for students. So Chapter 9 is due on the 26th. Al, isn't that Thanksgiving? It's the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for that weekend.
All right. So you have something to do for Thanksgiving with Chapter 9. If you do need a little bit more time, you can always email us and request an extension. We know it gets busy with holiday season. All right. So I think that's pretty much what we have covered for today. Al, what do you think?
I think it's fantastic. Everybody have a nice day and a nice weekend.
That's right. So if there's anything that comes up, be sure to instant message us. We'll get back to you as soon as possible and continue working on chapter by chapter in this tenant space floor plan exercise. All right, with that, I'm going to end this Zoom meeting. Don't want to see your, go ahead, Al, you can do your goodbye. You can do your sign off.
That's all. Just bye.
All righty then. We'll see you. See you next week.